Hello class, welcome to my CIS 9467 final presentation. In this project, I've decided to make a business break-even calculator to help my sister who is planning of starting her own business. What my sister plans to do is she plans to import carpets such as the one shown in the picture from India and sell them in New York City. For simplicity's sakes, I've decided to take the inventory as a single unit because though the designs of every carpet may vary, the sizes are the same and the cost for each carpet is the same because the raw materials and labor inputs for each carpet are the same. So my project main screen is basically divided into four sections: a fixed cost section, a variable cost section, a revenue section, and a scenario section. In my fixed cost section, let's say that my sister has finalized on a store and that store costs around $20 a square foot to rent, and it's a 250 square foot store. So her yearly rental amount is roughly $60,000 a year. Additionally, she might have to buy some computers, printers, etc., which will cost around $1,500. She will also have some need for stationery, pens, pencils, paper, which will be an additional $200 a year. Apart from the stationery, she would also need to furnish the store, and the furnishing costs are roughly $6 a square foot. So it would cost roughly $1,500 to furnish the store. Now let us come to the variable cost section. I did some research and I found out that it costs around $2 a square foot in electricity bills per month. So it would cost her around $6,000 a year in an electricity cost. You would also need to hire an employee to work at the store. So at this point of time, let's say that you hire the person for maybe $20 an hour. And currently, because the store is just starting out, you have just one employee. So you have a daily wages expense of $160. On average, you have the store running for 265 days a year. So that makes an annual salary of roughly $42,400. When we come to the inventory section, my sister can decide how much each unit is going to cost her. But right now for this demonstration, let's say that the price is roughly around $45 a unit. And let's say that you have to buy the units in bulk. So you have bought around 7,000 units. So this makes a total cost of inventory of around $315,000. There are also additional miscellaneous costs which you might have to consider. So for the time being, I'm saying that that's another $1,100. Again, these are completely adjustable, so she can adjust it to whatever cost she needs. Now, once she has purchased these 7,000 units, she might need to store them at a warehouse, and the storing cost is roughly $12 a unit, so per year. So to store 7,000 units would cost around $84,000 a year in storage. Now, when we come to the revenue section, let's say that my sister thinks that she can sell around 6,000 units without any problem because there's a good demand for the product. So you can adjust the amount of units you think you can sell using the scroll bar over here. So let's say that she thinks that she can sell 650 units. So once you adjust this to 650 units, automatically the amount of units stored gets less, and so the storage costs go down as well. And this is what is your total cost for an entire year to run the business. That is $437,600. So now that we have established how much it's going to cost us to run the business for an entire year, let's go back to the fixed cost page and let us adjust the capital required to around $437,000. But I would also say that we would need an additional buffer capital. So let's say that we require around $453,000. Now, out of the $453,000, maybe my sister can self-fund around $30,000. So let us put that in. $30,000 to $35,000 is what she can put in from her own pocket. So she would need to take a loan of $418,000. Now, this loan would be paid over a period of 20 years. As a standard, but you can keep changing that period. And at this point, I've taken an interest rate of 3%, but that can also be changed. So at a rate of 3% for a loan of $418,700, she needs to pay a monthly payment of $2,322 or a yearly payment of $27,000. So this is again added to the total cost, and now the total cost for running the business is roughly $465,000. So let's say that my sister thinks that in the first year she can sell roughly 6,050 units. So she wants to know how much she should sell each unit for in order to to ensure that she breaks even in the first year. So we can do that by using Solver. We set the objective to revenues. So set the objective to revenues, and we set to the value of our total cost, and we set it by changing the value of selling price. So once we say solve, we realize that you need to sell it for roughly $77 to break even in the first year. Now my sister has done some research of her own, and she has found out that the selling price of $77 is too high, and she thinks that no one is going to pay more than $70 for a single carpet. So we can again decide how many units we need to sell if we have a selling price of $70. So again, we can go to Solver and set the objective to the value of total cost. Now we can set objective to revenues, and we can adjust it by adjusting the number of units sold. So again, you can say solve, and we realize that to achieve the break even at the new price of $70, we need to sell roughly 6,600 units, or 600 units more than the earlier decided price. Now when we come to the next sheet, on the first part of the next sheet, we are presented with a quick reference interest chart. This interest chart basically shows the monthly payments at different interest rates for the principal amount, that is $418,000, which is taken from your loan amount over here. The principal amount varies from 50% of that value to 150% of that value. So you get a varying chart as a ready reckoner for the different rates of interest you'll be paying depending on the different principal amounts that you take. The second chart is a revenue projections chart. On the x-axis of the revenue projection chart, you have the amount of units you're going to sell, that is 650 units, again taken from your initial projections of 650, and the range is from 50% of that value to 150% of that value, as well as the selling price per unit is on the y-axis of the chart. That is again taken from the value that we have calculated of $76.9. So the range of the selling price as well varies from 50% of this value to 150% of this value. And this chart provides a ready reckoner for at what price and at what quantity will you start making money. Because as you can see at 76.94 and 6,050 units, you are just breaking even at the cost price of $465,000. So this has been my presentation. Thank you very much for listening and have a good day.